In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down 3 full court press defenses that every team needs. And these are not your standard diamond or 1-2-1-1 presses. These are presses that will make the other team totally confused. So let's get down. Let's check these out. Okay, so the first one that I like to run, let's say they are inbounding the ball down here, is to have what I like to call a 2-1-1-1. This is almost like a janky style press, but it works extremely well. And that is basically you're going to have these 2 players playing almost like a man-to-man style defense where they're going to be following the ball wherever it goes. Next is going to be these 3 players up the middle, and they have kind of 2 different roles. The first role is to not allow any passes up the middle because every single team will always teach, for example, to get that ball inbounded, and let's say they get it inbounded, they're always going to teach to get that ball back up the middle. And what we can actually do is, instead of having a zone style defense, where we can have now is these 2 players try to trap the ball early on into the possession, and then player 3 will move down to try to cut off that reverse pass. Meanwhile, here, player 4 is going to try to start shading over here because the next logical pass is down the sideline. And he also has to play kind of in between because the next logical pass is going to be up the middle. So these 2 players have very important jobs, which is to cut off any pass to the middle, and for player 4, any pass to half court. They have to be very quick players to be able to run this press. This is actually a press that I've ran with my junior high school girls team, and it works extremely well, at least at the lesser, I would say, inexperience versus something like a senior level high school team. This works extremely well against those styles or those levels of teams. If player 2 gets past this initial trap that we try to trap into this corner, then it's going to be one-on-one. Player 1 is going to drop and try to cover the middle. Meanwhile, player 2 is going to be directing this player to half court so that player 4 moves over to try to trap this player on this side of half. So the player who's generally guarding the middle is going to be coming over to trap, mainly because now we can still have those 3 players up the middle blocking all of those passes, and player 1, the initial player who was playing that man-to-man or that trap in the corner, will then cover the middle for the reverse pass so that he can or she can disrupt that reverse pass. This is a very useful play. Really quickly, make sure to go check out my unbeatable zone defense down in the description below if you're looking to be able to really stop any baskets, any shots from happening from the corner or from the low post, which is kind of the 2 areas where, of course, zone offenses try to or basically originate their attacks. So the unbeatable basketball zone defense doubles the post, traps the corners. Down in the description, go get it if you want to be able to win a ton of games because I use it a lot. Next is a 3/4 court 1-3-1. And what this is really trying to do is have these 4 players, we want them to stay home, which means on their side of half. We do not want them to cross half. Player 5 is going to be, of course, blocking any of the far down the court passes, and player 1 is just merely to disrupt the ball handler. Player 1's whole job is to kind of sit in the middle and try to push the ball towards the sideline. He doesn't want to chase the ball outside of the key's width of the court. He just wants to be able to sit there. Let's say player 1 gets that ball. He just wants to sit there to try to shade away the middle. If they do a reverse pass around, he's not going to go and try to chase that ball. He's going to just cover the middle. The idea here is, again, now to try to really force towards the sidelines. At this time, if the ball is coming up the middle, it's a little bit harder for player 5 to guard, but we could have players 4 and 2 just slide down just a bit, and let's say they reverse the ball away around, and now they're trying to get the ball up the sideline because that's the last logical choice. Player 1 starts to follow. Player 3 is still covering middle. He does not want anything up that middle. Player 5 will start to move over as well, and player 2, he's going to be watching these long passes. In fact, I know a few of the teams that I coach, when we run this, will actually run it almost like a 3-2 style against the ball because now we have 2 players up the middle, 5 over here to cover that side. Player 2, as soon as he gets over half, they trap as fast as possible. And now we're in a 2-3 style zone where now player 5 covers here, 3 covers the passes here, 2 covers passes there, and we just wait for this guy to step out of bounds or we get the steal, one or the other. Now, a press that, for lack of a better term, ticks off a lot of coaches and makes a lot of teams mad and upset, especially with me for some reason, is when I run this one. Now, this is kind of a weird one, and you'll see why. So basically, it's a 1-1-3 half court, 3/4 court, whatever you want to call it, press. And player 1 has the same rules where he's going to be covering the middle. He's not going to be following the ball outside of the width of the key. The reason for that is we really want that middle covered. When, let's say they get this ball inbounded, they reverse it back to the middle because every team wants to do that. Then player 1's going to obviously try to attack player 1. As soon as he takes that side, we want player 1 to follow. And at this time, as soon as player 1 gets past half, player 3 needs to sprint up to trap that corner. Player 5 moves over, player 4 moves over. Player 2, is still sitting at half. And at this time, we're going to be trapping that ball handler in the corner. Again, very deadly because now they're not expecting, if you really look at this, right? They're not expecting a trap. It's wide open, right? So by having player 1 just shadow the middle to try to just not allow player 1 red to take middle, and as soon as player 1 gets past half, you're sprinting up to be able to trap that. And then player 5 moves over, player 4 moves over, and then basically that guy's trapped, and we just wait until, of course, the whistle is blown for the guy to go out of bounds or turn the ball over to us, and we get some easy layup. In fact, that last press was a press that we used on a massive win that we just recently had. So it works extremely well. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Make sure to go check out the Unbeatable Basketball Zone defense down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time.